This is Alumni Spotlight, the inaugural edition. Mike Foyles alongside Evan Sprinkle here on Ring Central. And Evan, thank you so much. It's great to have you. Evan Sprinkle, the Associate Vice President of Undergrad Admissions at Queen's University of Charlotte. Also, one heck of a soccer player, Queen's class of 2008, former team captain, all-conference selection. Thanks for coming on today, Evan.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mike. It's a pleasure to be with you, and I'm excited to be the first of the Alumni Spotlight series. I'm going to go ahead and just set the tone right now. I'm still wearing my old jersey, so for all they follow, you must also do that as well.
I love it. It's a huge surprise. Did not see that coming, but that's a good call. And so, I mean, Evan, you are kind of the perfect example for this series as somebody who, once you graduated in 2008, you started working in admissions. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, straight from graduation to the Harris Admissions Center on campus.
Gotcha. Now, the Associate Vice President of Undergrad Admissions, and just to go back to your playing career, is there still, walking around Queens and stuff, is there kind of a particular moment from those 4 years playing Queens Royal Soccer? I mean, that one moment maybe you still draw on?
Yeah, man, my time at Queens, particularly as a member of the soccer team, was really a highlight. And it's tough to draw on one story because over the 4 years that I was there, we had a lot of success. I mean, I played with some incredibly talented teammates, obviously for Coach Norkey and a number of great assistants. I think my class, maybe one of the only ones to go to the NCAA tournament 3 times. I think we won 50 games over that 4-year period. So it's really tough to draw on one in particular. But the year we went to the Elite Eight, I mean, that was a really special season. Just the experience of winning a couple of tournament games at Lander, a few of them in dramatic fashion on penalty kicks, and then getting to travel down to Pensacola to play University of West Florida in a really tight game. I mean, I hate that we lost that game. I feel like it could have gone anybody's way. But yeah, just that whole season and the experience of being in the tournament, making a little bit of a deeper run than we did the other 2 times, that was really, really special.
And you were corporate communications graduate and an MBA recently, 2020. But, what kind of got you interested in admissions and you kind of because you've been on both sides of this. So, somebody who went through it as a, high schooler deciding where you wanted to go, if you wanted to play soccer, and, I guess what kind of led you to the career path that you're currently on?
Yeah, one of the things I got involved in at Queens as a student was being an ambassador, which is a tour guide on campus. The gentleman that was the director of admissions office at that time was also an alumni of Queens and a member of the soccer team, Will Lee. I think he graduated in '93. He actually scored the first goal in men's soccer history. So, I kind of looked to him as a mentor, and we had a great relationship when I was a student tour guide. And really, my time at Queens was really impactful. I was a first generation college student, didn't really know much of what the environment would be like in college, academically, socially, athletically. And so, I felt kind of indebted to Queens a little bit, and I wanted to serve and give back in that way by growing, the admissions classes after me. And I'm still here. So I've kind of, felt just an urge to be tied into Queens for a long time. I like to joke with my staff, this school year is my 17th school year at Queens, if you include my 4 years as a student.
You're a redshirt senior.
Yeah. So at 34, that's half my life now spent at Queens in some way, shape, or form. So I certainly have a passion for the place. And it just kind of made sense to transition into the admissions role for my tour guide experience.
And you grew up in Statesville, so not too far.
Yeah, it was about an hour away from home being at Queens, which is nice because my family could still come to most of the games. I think my dad even made it to all but like 2 away games while we were there. So, so kind of North Carolina born and bred.
Gotcha. And, you kind of covered it so far. I mean, what like particular aspect of Queens do you think played the greatest role in your aspirations to stay so closely connected to it?
Yeah, one of the reasons I picked Queens out of high school was the internship program. I was really kind of nervous about that transition from a college student to a working adult. And when I learned about the internship requirement that Queens offered, I really felt like that kind of resonated with what I needed at that time in my life. And so that, coupled with the fact it was in Charlotte, I kind of always had Charlotte as a place I thought I would end up after college. So when I was looking at schools, my parents said, well, why wouldn't you just go to Queens? Because it's in Charlotte. You think you're going to live there. Like, you have the chance to kind of network and get comfortable with the city as a college student. And so I'm, thankful for my parents to give me wise counsel in that way. Because I really thought those two things, kind of mesh well with what I was looking for in a school. And then once the soccer thing fell into place and a few other things, like Queens just really became a no-brainer for me in terms of the right fit for school. But kind of the initial hook was the city itself, which has obviously grown a lot since my freshman year and changed a lot. And the internship program, I thought those were two really valuable aspects of the community.
Well, I know the Queens community is incredibly thankful to have you around, and hopefully for much more time. I've also heard from some of my colleagues that you're a Noonball AllStar. Is that right?
Yeah, I think the biggest compliment I've been paid in my life is Phil. If we were to do a Noonball draft, I would be a first round pick, and probably a top half of the first round. So I'm staying shooting basketball as much as I can during quarantine and during the pandemic. So as soon as we're back on campus, I'll be ready for my Noonball return. We got to get some kind of bubble situation going or something. I think
I'll be there too.
To play. Good.
Did you ever have to choose between, was soccer always a fall sport? Because I know in some places, some regions, I know when I was growing up, people had to choose in the winter between basketball and soccer. Was that ever a choice for you?
No, soccer was always fall for me in North Carolina, and basketball was winter. So I was usually like 2 or 3 weeks late to basketball season in high school, but I knew my coach really well, so he was cool with that. It always like made the transition. I feel like I always got shin splints really bad right at the beginning of basketball season because going from the soccer turf outside to the basketball court, I just had to like go through my annual battle with shin splints. But other than that. Stuff.
Well, thank you so much, Evan. This has been Evan Sprinkle, Alumni Spotlight, a Queens Royal Class of 2008 graduate and the Associate Vice President of Undergrad Admissions. Thank you so much, Evan. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, Mike. Thanks for having me. Have a good rest of the day.